Yeah, we back, y'all. Good morning to everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you at in the world. We back in the building. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video, man. Because we got to talk about Little Durk and his update right quick. A lot of people probably don't know what's going on, but it looked like Little Durk might obviously might come on, to be honest. It's looking like a 50%. That's a high percentage. It's not, that's like in the middle, pause. I mean, that's a good percentage for somebody to get some good news for them to come home off of murder for hire, allegedly. And everything I speak on this video is alleged. But we got to talk about Little Durk. Because now there's some things going on here. Now they got the witness saying that, oh, he's not qualified, what he's saying. First he said, oh, Little Durk put the murder for hire. Now they're going back saying, oh, now the witness saying, nah, I didn't say that. I didn't do that. Little Durk didn't do the murder for hire. They don't know who the hell to believe. Then now they're going around saying that Durk and his co-defendants and some other people are actually threatening the judge, threatening the jury, allegedly. This is all BS. This is a trolls are doing stuff like that, and we're gonna go over the clip in the video so y'all can understand this clearly a little bit more. But if Little Durk beat this case in California, don't forget you still got Chicago and you still got Georgia. They was doing a lot of spooky, nasty work down there in Georgia. They was spinning around, clock, clock, boom. They was doing all, yeah, the OTF niggas down there was getting busy in Georgia. And remember, Fannie Willis threw that up in the air. She said, all y'all little rappers that live down here, yeah, y'all continue doing what y'all doing. We're gonna get y'all. And if we ain't get y'all now, nigga, we're gonna get y'all later. So that's another state where he got to worry about. Then you got to worry about Chicago, with all the retaliation. Allegedly, they trying to pin Little Durk with the D thing situation with his brother getting unalive, and they came back with retaliation and knock off the person that unalive his brother. They trying to pin that murder to Little Durk also, allegedly. But they don't got enough witness. They don't got enough evidence. The only thing they got is witnesses. A little bit of audio here and there. We don't even know if the audio real. We haven't heard the audio or nothing. We don't even know if OTF Jam is allegedly the confidential informant. We don't know who the informant is. We don't know if OTF Vonnie gonna end up flipping. We got to talk about this so y'all gonna understand a little bit more, because Little Durk got a 50% chance that boy might come home. I'm gonna let y'all be the judge on this. After we go through the videos, I'm gonna let y'all, you know what I mean, let y'all be the judge. Y'all think Little Durk got a chance of coming home? Money talks, and when you ain't got enough evidence and you got the lawyers like Little Durk got, there's a 50% chance you might come out that case winning. Let's talk about this, man. Like one up, get your coffee, get your tea, man. Let's talk about this Little Durk right quick. And I'm gonna let y'all be the judge on this and think the Little Durk got a chance to come home, because a lot of little foolery things going on over there in that California case with Little Durk. And we all know how California be like to play around, and allegedly they got a bad rep on a court system over there. I'm gonna say it that way, allegedly, plus the LAPD and all that. So there's not a little secret about the California, I mean LAPD police and all that over there. So there's a chance that the Dirk might obviously come home if that witness that they got ain't a real witness that got real evidence and could prove that Little Durk was the one to put their head out on Quando Rondo cousin and them, allegedly. Let's talk about it. Let's get this show started, man. Like one up. Y'all already know the vibes, man. Yo, 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 yo. If they know, they know. It's your boy Smoke News TV. We back in the building. Smash that thumbs up. It ain't gonna hurt your feeling. It ain't gonna cost you. Share the video. Make sure you keep that notification bell on so you know when these videos are actually dropping. Shout out to everybody that got their membership team. Smoke Game. Try to get yours also. Let's get this show started, man. Copyright out the way. Copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find that in my description on my channel. Everything that I speak on over here is absolutely for educational and entertainment purpose. Again, copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find that in my description on my channel. Everything that I speak on over here is absolutely for educational and entertainment purpose. The clips and the videos I play also owned by the original creators. Let's get straight to it so y'all can understand what's going on here. So Little Durk might actually walk free soon. According to new court docs revealed that main witness can't keep the story straight. I just said that. You can't have a witness that's going to be up there trying to send somebody to jail off of murder for hire, whatever, but your witness can't keep the story straight. He keep flipping and flopping, keep flipping the story. Oh yeah, Little Durk did this and Little Durk did this. Like, then you turn around and say, nah, Little Durk ain't do this. Little Durk ain't do this. This was our put. It was all on our choice. We wanted to retaliate. You can't do that. So what they're gonna have to do when you got good lawyers like Little Durk, they're gonna have to obviously let this man walk out, beat the case, no proof, waste the waste California taxpayers' money, all this and shit, because you just wasting people's time. If y'all don't got enough evidence on Little Durk with the murder for hire knocking off Quando Rondo, little cousin. You just don't got enough evidence. Now, if one of the homies, one of his co-defendants end up flipping on him, that's a whole different ballgame we're talking about now. You got Didi, you got OT Avani, you got the other homies, the other two homies locked up with him. They all trying to come home right now. They not playing no games. They like, listen, if y'all ain't got enough proof, why are we sitting here? And I'm not gonna lie, I agree with that. But see, the proof that they got the witness, they got the audio, they got the text message. They're trying to hold on to that. And we're gonna talk about all this right now because what I think is gonna happen is anything that Little Durk do, they're gonna try to use against him. Remember little Apple Watch situation? Yeah, Little Durk got found with an Apple Watch inside prison. They're gonna try to use that, say that he was allegedly sending threats out to the people that's trying to come forward and be a witness, or send threats to family members, or send threats to the juries, whatever. I don't think all that shit is true. I'm just being honest. I don't think Little Durk is that crazy enough to be sending threats to juries and family members and all this. It's gonna hurt his case more. He's gonna end up getting found guilty if you do shit like that. So I think that's coming from trolls. I think that's coming from fan bases, people that love Little Durk calling in court, sending threats. But see, the judge got to understand, when you got a crazy fan base that's doing trolling like that, calling the courts, you can't blame Little Durk on that situation. He don't got nothing to do with that. He's not telling his fans, yo, y'all got to stop calling the courts and pulling out threats. He can't do that. You just can't. So what they need to do is get a new judge. Because if that judge gonna use that against Little Durk and try to be like, yeah, look, we're getting threats and all this. This is a serious case and all this. Nah, you can't do that, champ. You got to go by the evidence, what they prove in the court to you. And if they ain't got that, you can't bring no King Von situation. You can't bring up D-Thing situation. The only thing you can bring up is the California situation, which Little Durk lawyers are actually trying to tell them. Y'all steady trying to bring Chicago situations, King Von down in Georgia. They trying to connect all these situations all the way to California, which I think you shouldn't be doing, because those are other states that other crimes happen. That shit ain't got nothing to do with a California crime. What y'all locked them up for, that's the crime you actually got to convict them for. Don't try to backtrack and try to get this man guilty off of Georgia and Chicago off of alleged and narratives. No, you can't do that. That shit is not going to work. So that's why I say, to me, he got about a 60% chance he might walk out. Not walk out, but beat the charge. Now the other guys, I don't know. I don't know if DD and them are gonna stand 10 toes down. We don't know what type of text messages these people got. We don't know what type of audio these people got. They saying OTF Jam was wearing a wire allegedly. We don't know that shit was true or not, because it been what? It been too long now. We would have been knowing OTF Jam as a informant. Where the hell's OTF Jam at now? To be honest, that part. But let's continue, man, so y'all can get a better understanding of what the hell is going on with this Little Durk case. Because when you ain't got enough evidence, you got about 50-60% chance you're gonna walk out and beat this goddamn case, and they're gonna try to convict. They're gonna try to indict you with some other lighter charges. They just ain't gonna let you walk out free. So they're gonna get them. They're gonna give Little Durk something. Pause. But I don't think it's gonna be the murder for hire, to be honest, because it's looking real sloppy right now. Let's get to the clip and get to the video so y'all can get a better understanding of what the hell is going on with this Little Durk situation. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video. Do me that favor.
This Lil Durk case, like I told y'all when I first started talking about this Lil Durk case, the feds are going to try to do anything and everything that they can to make the jury feel like Lil Durk is guilty, even if their case is weak and they ain't got no solid evidence. And the only reason why I say that is, if y'all haven't heard this new news that just came out about the Lil Durk case, let me put y'all up on game. So according to the recent news that just came out about this Lil Durk case, the federal prosecutors who are involved in prosecuting this case are now accusing members of Lil Durk's crew of intimidating witnesses who are involved in this case and also threatening a federal judge and a prosecutor. Man, y'all, they really trying to make Durk look bad as hell, bruh. Like, bruh, this case is so high profile, they do not want to lose this case at all. And I'm gonna tell you right now what they gonna do is,
and that's the issue right there. This case is a high profile case. So whoever's the little prosecutors and the people over there in Colorado, they're not trying to lose this goddamn case because they know if they win this case, that's gonna their reputation, their money gonna go up. They is not trying to lose this case. But the way it's looking like right now, Paul, their evidence ain't too accurate. Is what I'm gonna say. You got to present that evidence in court 100%, not no 50%, 60%, 40%, or you're gonna try to make the juries believe in what you're saying. Now you can convince the juries, oh yeah, little Durk is making out threats off his iPhone, watching there and all this. Nah, man, that's shenanigans. Come on, we talking about the case. We ain't talking about allegedly he was putting out threats with an iPhone on watching all this. Now, if you could convince the juries about him being some big time monster and all this, that's something that's up to the juries now. But what I'm trying to say here, he might just need a whole new judge, a whole new everything, because they're gonna try to bring everything from other places, put that shit in one pot, and try to cook it up and try to blame this nigga for everything. From Chicago to Georgia and bring all that shit to California. That's all they're trying to do to little Durk, man. Because they really don't got too much, to be honest. Let's continue, though, because we ain't done. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel.
I remember when Lord Durk tell you right now what they gonna do is, y'all remember when Lord Durk got caught with that Apple Watch? I guarantee they used that in trial against Durk and try to convince the jury that they believe Lord Durk was using that Apple Watch to set up hits to knock off witnesses that's involved in this case. And also the federal prosecutor and judge too. Like, bruh, listen, when I first heard about Lord Durk getting caught with that Apple Watch, bruh, I knew it was gonna be bad for him, bruh. Because at the end of the day, it's his word against theirs. And since they're the law, you don't think the jury is gonna believe them more than little Durk? I mean, just look at it this way, bruh. He's already in jail fighting an M for hire case. And several witnesses have already came out and said they fear for their life because they heard that their life is being threatened, bruh. So again, like I said, I would not be surprised if the jury believed those witnesses and the feds over Lord Durk, bruh. Because most of the time in any trial, the jury always believes the witness over the defendant, bruh. Listen, y'all, like,
And that's something little Durk lawyers gonna have to prove to the jury. Listen, my man, my client over here, my homeboy over here, whatever you want to call him, this is the lawyer's going to tell the jury. This man got caught with a cell phone, Apple Watch, whatever. He just missed his kids. He missed his family. That shit don't got nothing to do with threats. Like I tell y'all, you got fan base, you got trolls and shit like that, probably calling people houses and getting information from the juries and witnesses and saying, yeah, you better not go up there or we're gonna do this is OTF. You got crazy fan bases that do that type of shit for they superstar or their favorite rapper that they look up to. We see this happen all the time in pop music, R&B music, whatever category you want to talk, rock and roll. How many times we seen that shit? People get locked up and their fan base go crazy, start calling the courts and sending out threats. This shit been going on for decades. Nothing new here. So let's not be surprised about this situation. I don't believe Little Durk and his co-defendants were sending threats to the witness. I don't believe that shit. I just don't. I believe there was more. I believe there's more trolls and fan base people that's actually doing that, thinking that they're helping Little Durk. In all reality, this is kind of causing little chaos inside the courtroom because now the jury's got to believe what the hell's going on. It's either they're going to believe the witness or they're going to believe the Little Durk on lawyer. Now, you just can't believe the witness. The witness going to tell you whatever the hell they're going to tell you. It's up to you and up to your mind state to believe that shit and paint a picture. Be like, all right, dude, he really going to do some shit like this? Is he really going to do this? Even though he's facing a murder for hire and we could send him off to jail for like 20 years or better? It's up to the jury. That's why Little Durk lawyers want a new judge, new jury. They want everything new because they're saying a lot of this extra chaos, these extra narratives that's coming from nothing to do with this case. They're trying to bring all that shit involved in this case. The King Von death, the get back for D thing, his brother. They're trying to bring all that to California. I'm about to show you that right now. Shout out to I'm Not a Lawyer. Make sure y'all go follow her on TikTok because she be breaking this shit down real nice and clear. Let's hear what she got to say about this whole situation because she been following this and I'm about to react. Peep this out. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video. Like went up. Y'all already know the vibes, man. Free Little Durk too.
There are some really interesting I'm not a lawyer, but there are some really interesting back and forth arguments happening in Durk's federal case right now, and I've read all the documents, so let me get you caught up. Quick refresher to make sure we're all on the same page. Chicago rapper Durk Banks is currently incarcerated in California because California prosecutors allege that he placed a bounty on rival rapper Quando Rondo's head. And then, according to the indictment, on August 19, 2022, Durk and members of his OTF label traveled to Los Angeles to carry out that hit. And the execution of that hit, according to prosecutors, resulted in the death of Quando Rondo's cousin. And so now Durk and his co-defendants are scheduled to go to trial in January of 2026. Now, let's talk about these arguments. So the first one has to do with the indictment being too vague. And a few weeks ago, Durk's attorneys, which is led by Drew Findling, filed a motion asking the judge to dismiss this case or order the prosecutors to provide a bill of particulars, which is basically a detailed list of exactly what prosecutors are claiming. And the reason Durk's attorneys are asking for this is because, according to them, the indictment is too vague, which prevents them from being able to prepare because they don't know exactly what they are defending Durk against. I made a video on that first motion a couple weeks ago, so you can go back and watch it if you need more context. Prosecutors have now responded to that motion, basically saying, y'all have everything y'all need to prepare and everything y'all need to defend him. In this response, the federal prosecutors say they've laid out the motive for this hit, which was retaliation for Durk's friend King Von being killed in Atlanta in 2020, that Durk used coded language to let people know that there was a hit, that Durk allegedly orchestrated getting these people to Los Angeles to carry out this hit. And the prosecutors say that they've laid out at least 27 overt acts showing how the co-defendants tracked Quando Rondo's car for hours and then ambushed him and his cousin at the gas station, leading to the cousin's death. And on top of that, prosecutors say they've handed over a ton of discovery that further lays out this charge, including 37,000 pages of records and reports.
Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video, man. That's the part that kind of like, that's why I give him a 50% chance of him winning this case. Because when you got 37,000 pages, records and reports, whoever the witness is, and I mean, whoever the hell this witness is, whoever the one that's flipping and telling everything, we don't know who this person could be. They were saying it was Brick Baby. Shout out to Brick Baby out there in California. He faced a whole nother other charge. They were saying he got something to do with this little Durk situation for him dropping a location on Quando Rondo and them niggas. Because you not forget, y'all, let me let this marinate. Quando Rondo is affiliated with the 60s out there in California. We forgot about that? We know there's a lot of backdooring going on allegedly out there in California. Rest in peace to Big U, son. Know what I mean? You see what happened to him and all this, that, and the third. Rest in peace to Nipsey. Know what I mean? What their own family be backdooring them. Come on now. We done seen what's going on here. Allegedly. It's a lot of backdooring going on out there in California. With all the content that's going on out there, they be speaking about this backdooring shit that's going on. So somebody dropped that location where Quando Rondo was at, and they knew he was coming to California. How the hell Little Durk would know? I'll sit back, I'll wait. Little Durk moving around. How would he know there's this man on his way to California? How you know he in California? That's because somebody in California already gave that information to Little Durk, allegedly, or somebody from the OTF without Little Durk knowing. And then that's what we got. That's what we hear right. That's what we hear right now. But when you using codes, like she said, that Little Durk used, you gotta prove that them codes was actually, yo, he's in California. Go do what y'all gotta do. Y'all know what to do. And I mean, it's go time. You gotta prove that he was talking about going to go spin a block and go get some retaliation back on Quando Rondo and before King Von. When you speaking in codes, you gotta prove that shit now. But when you got a witness that's backtracking on what they saying, that's where we at today. Because the witness is saying all this, whoever the hell's talking. But then you going back, now the witness saying, yo, nah, he ain't never say this and that, and the third. It wasn't him, it was all us. Now you making the juries and everybody confused about this. Because they got their own money. Let's not forget about this. OTF members wasn't broke. OTF Vonnie was sitting on thousands. OTF DD was sitting on thousands. They could make their own move and do what they do without Little Durk knowing. I'm just gonna put that in the air. Yo, man, we just gonna spin the block, man. Little Durk ain't got no. We'll let him know later on, man. They could actually do that. How many homies do that? How many homies do stuff without the big homies knowing? How many homies do stuff without their big bros knowing? How many people do stuff without the bosses not even knowing nothing? So we got to look at that type of picture also, that the OTF members, they got their own money to do something like this. Let's think clear now. Let's not put everything on Little Durk now, because those are King Von's homies too. They was hanging around King Von too. OTFDD and all them niggas, they love King Von the same way. Maybe they wanted retaliation on their own without Little Durk knowing. I'm just assuming, it's alleged. I'm just putting it out there. Because right now, it ain't looking too 100% that Little Durk put the hit on Quando Rondo as far as the evidence that they are actually providing us. Because now you got the witness refreshing his goddamn statement. He's saying Little Durk didn't put the murder for hire. So we don't know what the hell's going on right now. But let's continue with her breaking his paperwork down so I could clearly get a better vision of what the hell is going on, actually. Because it's looking like Little Durk might beat this case. The way it's looking. Let's continue, though.
Over 250 pages of witness statements, 310 gigabytes of audio and video evidence, and data from over 30 phones and social media accounts. And so the government's position is y'all have everything y'all need to defend him. And this bill of particulars is really just an attempt to get prosecutors to reveal exactly how they plan on proving their case, when in reality, the prosecutors say they don't have to reveal that. They only have to reveal their theory of the case, and they say that is pretty simple. Durk promised money or music opportunities to anyone who killed Quando Rondo, and then his co-conspirators flew to Los Angeles to act on that promise. That's the theory. Now, Durk and his legal team have responded to the government, basically saying, y'all are talking about everything except for what we are talking about. Durk's team is really clear that Durk isn't like the rest of his co-defendants because he's the only one facing this murder for hire charge. So he isn't accused of tracking the car, being at the gas station, ambushing anyone, or even discharging a firearm. Durk's link to this crime is that it was ordered by him. And so to defend him against this murder for hire charge, they need to know when, where, how, and under what circumstances it was ordered. They say right now the best they know is that at some point between November 6, 2020 and August 22nd, 2022, Durk allegedly made clear in coded language. Making something clear in coded language is funny. That he would pay a bounty or give music opportunities to anyone who killed Quando Rondo. But they haven't said a date in between those 2 years. They haven't said how it was actually communicated, like on text or on a call. They haven't said what coded language was used, and they haven't said what direction he allegedly gave. And so to further prove this point, Durk's team gives some examples in their response. They say, imagine prosecutors believe that on January 5th, 2021, Durk said the Eagle has landed, and that was the coded language used to offer the bounty. But Durk's team says if they knew that this was the government's theory and they had evidence that the Eagle has landed was really about a meeting or a show or anything other than a murder, they could adequately prepare and defend him at trial. But without knowing those kind of specifics, they can't research, investigate, or prepare any kind of defense because they don't know the date, time, and circumstances to which they are defending him against. And learning all this information at trial, they say is trial by surprise, which would be unfair to Durk Banks. In their response, Durk's team also responds to the idea that they should be able to use the thousands of pages of discovery and hundreds of gigs of video evidence to understand what the government's theory.
You see, that's what's throwing me off right there. Shout out to I'm Not a Lawyer. We're going to continue because we ain't done. She's breaking this down clearly as we can hear it. That's what I don't understand is they keep saying they got all this. Durk lawyers are saying, like, listen, okay, if y'all got all this, let me see it. Let's see the discovery. Like, we need all that so we could defend it. We got to come back with a comeback, what y'all saying. And then the things that y'all saying don't got nothing to do with the goddamn California murder for hire situation, allegedly, that little Durk allegedly put out there. They keep bringing up other shit, Chicago, King Von, and all this. That's what's going on here. That 330,000 pages of reports, whatever the hell they got, most of that shit is outside of California. Yeah, the Eagle done landed. Nigga, the Eagle done landed. That could mean anything. That could mean, yo, man, I mean the Eagle, the boss done landed. Nigga, this, that, and the third. Like, that could mean anything. You got to prove the Eagle done landed, that it was a murder for hire situation. How the hell can you prove that? What, your witness? They witness not qualified. They witness keep flip-flopping a whole statement. That's where we at right now today in this video. Why you think Little Durk got a 50% chance now? Because they main witness, I guess, to keep flip-flopping the statements. What's going on here? Why Durk lawyers can't get all that discovery so they could defend him on what the hell y'all trying to press charges on him on? They looking like, yo, listen, okay, we got him over here in California. We're gonna handle this. But all this extra shit y'all got into discovery, we need to see that. Y'all hiding stuff. So y'all can bring in a child and try to surprise us? Nah, we're not doing that. That's what Drew doing. That's what Durk Lord doing. That's what that money would do. You're not gonna go take us to trial and try to surprise us, nigga, with a surprise little document. Oh my God, we don't know how to defend this now. Drew is not having that. Drew, meaning little Durk lawyer. He's not having that shit. He got good lawyers on his side, bro. And like I said, they're gonna continue trying to bring Chicago, Georgia situation. They're gonna try to bring all that, put it in one pot, and try to put it as he murder for hire for everything. The lawyer's not gonna let that happen. We're not talking about King Von in Georgia. We're not talking about the thing retaliation in Chicago. We're talking about the situation that's going on in California. So until then, y'all gonna give us the discovery, everything that we need. If y'all don't, nigga, drop these charges. That's clearly what's going on here. They don't got every discovery paper, meaning little Durk lawyers. Now the prosecutor and the government, they saying, well, y'all got enough over there to defend them on this California situation. Drew is saying no, y'all got more surprises and trying to indictment on other charges that we got to defend them on. But if y'all not giving us everything, we not going to trial now. That's a good fight. That's a good argument. Because now you can sit back a little bit in your cell and be like, yo, listen, y'all ain't proving nothing. Y'all just showing codes and this and that. They gotta have more. This witness they got, I mean, they gotta have some audio, man. I told people, little Durk wasn't no dummy, bro. He ain't no dummy, man. He know how to move right, bro. His father just did a long stretch, pause in prison. Big Durk taught that nigga something, nigga. Don't be on these phones and all this. He taught that nigga how to move right. Let's continue, though. Shout out to I'm Not a Lawyer, because she's breaking this shit down nice, man. Well, let's continue.
And to that, Durk's team says, y'all's witnesses can't even decide if there was a bounty or not. So how are we supposed to know? Apparently, one of the government's witnesses, PW1, first told prosecutor that there was no bounty and that he agreed to commit this murder under duress. But then he later told prosecutors that there was a bounty and one of the co-defendants stayed back in LA in order to collect it. So again, to this, Durk's attorneys say, we can't use the discovery because it only leaves us confused as to what y'all believe actually happened. And so they want the indictment dismissed or a bill of particulars provided by the prosecutors. Now, let's move on to the second back and forth that's happening in this case. And that has to do with what's called other acts evidence, which is evidence that goes beyond the actual incident, but what prosecutors are arguing helps tell the story of the incident. Prosecutors basically are arguing.
Now we get to the part where it's very interesting, because what the prosecutor and the government is trying to do here, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. If y'all see that hype button, smash that hype button also. They trying to present what's the reason why little Durk did the murder for hire allegedly, and what's the reason why it started. Then I just tell y'all they going back to Georgia. They trying to go back to the King Von unalive situation, and they trying to say all this is connected. But see, what Durk lawyers are doing is saying, no, 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 no. We're not playing on type of games, because the witness don't know what he's talking about. He flopping his goddamn statements. Let's continue. This was to get very interesting, because this is what little Durk lawyers drawing them. They throwing uppercuts at them like, nah, we're not taking that Chicago and Georgia case. We worrying about the California here. Some bad lawyers over there, man. Let's continue.
That they want to be able to case. And that has to do with what's called other acts evidence, which is evidence that goes beyond the actual incident, but what prosecutors are arguing helps tell the story of the incident. Prosecutors basically are arguing that they want to be able to talk about the death of Durk's best friend, King Von, because according to them, that's the motive behind this Quando Rondo shooting. But Durk's team says, absolutely not, because that has nothing to do with Durk. The team says Durk wasn't at the location or even in the same state as King Von when he was killed, and the person who killed him, a man named Timothy Leaks, is not involved in this current case at all, so they don't feel like it should be mentioned. The government is also arguing that they want to be able to discuss a May 2021 shooting in which Quando Rondo was allegedly targeted. But again, Durk's team says that has nothing to do with Durk, and the only person tying Durk or his OTF label to that incident is one of the government's witnesses. Next, the government is requesting to discuss the control Durk has over his OTF label. And to do so, they want to admit some text messages, a voice memo, and some of Durk's music lyrics. But to this, Durk's team says, y'all are taking all of that stuff out of context and it has nothing to do with this case. And then finally, prosecutors are arguing that they want to be able to discuss the 2022 murder of a man named Stephen Mack because they say that also plays into this case. But again, Durk's attorney says the victim in that case was not Quando Rondo, so it really has nothing to do with this case. So the government wants it all included and Durk's attorney wants it all excluded. And then the last back and forth has to do with the jury being anonymous because the government says that the prosecutors nor the defense should have the actual names of the jurors for their protection. And Durk's attorneys are saying, yes, we should. It looks like there is a hearing scheduled for November 18th where both sides will be arguing some of these motions.
So there you go on that part. But we're going to continue with I'm Not a Lawyer. Shout out to her because she's continued breaking it down. Like I told y'all, Durk got some bad lawyers. He got some lawyers over there. Them lawyers, they on their job. They trying to paint a whole picture story on what's the reason why Quando Rondo, cousin, little Pop, whatever, got his unalive out there in California. They trying to go back. But see, it doesn't play like that when you got good lawyers. We're not going to backtrack and try to paint a picture. We ain't got time for that. The time we got is just trial and y'all going to try to convince the jury that what happened in California, not in Chicago and not in Georgia. It don't got nothing to do with what happened in California. That's why I said this boy got a 50, 60% chance he might beat this case. Or they're going to have to dismiss this shit. Either way. But the surprise is, it's the audio. What audio do they got? But see, Durk lawyers are saying we need all that. Give us that. So we could defend our client. Until then, nigga, we're going to continue pushing this trial. We're going to continue pushing this court. They not playing fair. That's the problem here. You can't send somebody out for 20 years and think that he got the lawyers that he got is not going to be like, nah, y'all trying to paint a whole picture and try to make this dude seem like he a goddamn monster. We don't know who the hell Little Durk is. Let me put it out there. We don't know what he's involved in, but the only thing we can speak on is the California situation. And right now, how the way it's looking like old boy might walk out that goddamn courtroom. Because they going to Georgia and Chicago, nigga. Nah, bring the evidence in California. Give us the text message in California. Give us the text message that's saying, yo, he's at the gas station. Y'all know what time it is. Give us the codes that y'all could break the codes that allegedly, yo, the Eagle done landed. And y'all could convince the jury saying that was the code to go spin around the block to go retaliate on Quando Rondo and his cousin. They got to prove that. If you haven't proved that, what's the point of this case? This is nasty work, man. They basically just wasting Little Durk time. Let's continue with this last video, though, so y'all can get a more understanding what's going on here.
Defense team, who is headed up by Drew Finling, just filed a motion that could, if the court agrees, could drastically change this case. And I just read through it, so let me give you the recap. So the motion that was just filed is asking for 5 things specifically. Number 1, remove every judge in the Central District of California from this case. Number 2, disqualify the entire U.S. Attorney's Office that's prosecuting Durk for this case. Number 3, completely dismiss the indictment. Number 4, vacate or cancel all scheduling orders. And number 5, reopen Durk's bail and pretrial hearings. And the reason for all of this is because of death threats. According to the motion, back in February of 2025, Magistrate Judge Patricia Donahue, who is the judge that handled Durk's bond hearing, received 4 violent voicemails threatening her and courthouse staff. If this is sounding familiar, we heard about some of these threats in another motion. The caller referenced Durk by name and demanded the judge, quote, do the right thing and free Durk and his co-defendant. After those threats were made, the FBI opened an investigation, the U.S. Marshals were notified, and the entire courthouse was informed of the threats. The only people not informed of the threats were the defense and the defendants. Yet, while all of this is happening and everybody knows, except the defense and the defendants, Judge Donahue was overseeing Durk's request for bond and ultimately denied that request. And then a few months after those threats, the lead prosecutor got some threats. These threats happened in April, and they were also violent in nature, and they were by a different caller. The FBI opens another investigation, and again, everyone is informed except for the defense.
And I told y'all this in the beginning of the video. The alleged threats that's getting called at the courthouse and all this, judges and all, those are trolls, man. Those are fans. Those are that. So the judge got to understand, man, at the end of the day, man, those ain't real individuals that's going to send threats to a judge and people knowing that it's going to send little Durk to prison for life. Like, make it make sense here. This is a superstar we talking. They got a big fan base. That's like when NBA YoungBoy was going through his situation. You had fans calling the courthouse and everything. It's the same shit here. Let's not act like this is a surprise. Oh my God, people's calling the courthouse and threatening. No, this is a superstar rapper we talking. He got a big fan base. Let's continue. Let's not get it confused here. Those ain't no regular family members that's doing that. Come on now, make it make sense now. Those are fan base, and the judge got to understand that also. So the judge got to understand, like, okay, these are little threats they putting out there, but these are mostly fan bases that's obsessed over Little Durk. That's all this shit is, man. Like, let's be serious. So throw that shit out the courtroom because that shit been going on since the time of day when they locked up rock stars and everything else, and fan bases called the courthouse and everything else saying that you should release our guy and this, that, and the third. This shit been going on for years. So let's not pay no attention to that right there. And the judge shouldn't have to pay attention to that either. Pardon me. Let's continue though, man, because that's nonsense right there.
And says they were not told about any of this until October 1st, 2025. While everyone knows, except for the defense, the government filed a superseding indictment. They asked for an anonymous jury, and they were holding meetings with the defense about general safety issues, yet never mentioned these threats that had been made. And so the point Durk's team is making is that the prosecutors and the judge had essentially become victims in this case, witnesses in this case, and investigators of this case, while also still being judge and prosecutor on this case, which they say is a conflict of interest under due process. And to make it very plain, Durk's team says, quote, Judge Donahue was in no position to consider whether Mr. Banks was too dangerous to be released while having been both personally threatened by someone purporting to act on Mr. Banks's behalf and having had her entire workplace physically and violently threatened by the same. And not once did she reveal this information and how it could potentially bias her and possibly lead her to believe that he is in fact dangerous. Yet she went on to deny Durk's bond twice. Durk's team goes on to say all of the parties in this case, meaning the prosecutors and the defense, have all been meeting and trial prepping and litigating different issues, yet the prosecutors are doing so under this cloud of having been threatened. And to be clear, the argument Durk's team is making, it's not just about the threats, it's about the failure to disclose the threats to the defense that makes this whole thing a violation of Durk's rights. They say he has a right to a fair and impartial judge, a conflict-free prosecutor, and a trial free of actual bias and the appearance of bias. And to disclose this information so late in the game doesn't fix the issue because rulings and decisions have already been made under this cloud of threats. So the true fix, they say, is dismiss the whole indictment or a full disqualification of the U.S. State Attorney's Office. But they say if the court doesn't want to do all that, as an alternative, they are asking for an in-camera review of all threat-related materials and communications, an evidentiary hearing to determine the scope of prosecutorial and judicial knowledge. They want all orders that were entered before the defense knew about these threats to be vacated or canceled. They want the case assigned to a judge outside of the Central District of California pending review. And they want all pre-trial and bond hearings reopened. They're also asking for all proceedings on this case to be put on hold, including the January 2026 trial date, until all of this gets figured out. They conclude this motion by saying the U.S. Attorney's Office decision.
And that's a smart move, actually. Because if you got a judge that's feeling like, oh my God, I'm getting threatened and all this, and she's going to bring that same motion inside the courtroom. The jury's going to they're going to look at him like he's some John Gotti or some shit like that. In all reality, those are fan base that's actually doing that. So why not get a judge outside of California so we could get a fair trial here? Because what y'all doing over here is absolutely not fair. It's a good motion. Let's continue.
To conceal threats to the very judges presiding over this case and to continue litigating before them for months has infected the proceedings with an appearance and a reality of unfairness that cannot be ignored. The judiciary's legitimacy depends on public confidence that justice is not only done, but seen to be done. That confidence is shaken here. Defendants therefore respectfully urge the court to dismiss the indictment or, at the very least, disqualify the United States Attorney's Office and reassign this matter to a district untainted by the government's non-disclosure. Let me tell you what, that Drew Finley, he gonna file some motions. So that's the latest motion. I was actually working on a video for
I told y'all, Drew going out with a bang, straight up and down. That dude Drew, he ain't playing, man. He's gonna file some motions because he know what's going on here. I'm gonna let y'all be the judge on this stuff. Little Durk is looking good because he got some good lawyers that's pushing it. They not playing these games. They're not playing, yo, we got to paint a picture. It started from A, B, C, and then ended over here in California and all this. We not playing them games. This was Drew doing. Drew's not playing none of that. Drew's like, let's get to the point. Prove that what happened in California. Give us the discovery so we could defend everything y'all trying to accuse him of doing. We not playing these out of state games though. We trying to prove what happened in California. That's the only thing that matters right now. And I'd agree with Drew. When you got some lawyers that you paying like that, they're gonna fight like that, they're gonna bark like that, and they're gonna put the motions in like that, which is only right. Because you don't want to sit there and let them paint a picture of what happened from all the way to Georgia. I mean, from Chicago to Georgia, and then it ended in California. We're not gonna play them type of games here. Lil Durk got a chance. I'm out of here, man. I'm gonna let y'all be the judge on this video, man. Shout out to Lil Durk. Shout out to Drew, his lawyer, because them boys are putting in that work over there. They ain't playing no games, man. They really not, man. They putting in that work. They ain't trying to paint no picture. Let's get this shit started and let's end this shit because we ain't playing these out-of-state games and trying to paint a picture here. Shout out to Drew, man. I'm gonna let y'all be the judge though. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video. If y'all see that hype button, make sure y'all smash that hype button also. Keep that notification bell on so you know my videos are actually dropping. And yeah, shout out to that boy lawyer, man. Drew, free Little Durk, man. I'm up out of there, man. Till then, we on to the next video. Y'all already know the vibes, man. If they know, they know. It's your boy Smoke News TV. Salute, gang. I'm out of here.